This video is an analysis of the music video for Seonghwa's Skin. Unlike a lot of my videos, this one is not going to cover lyrics. Instead, we're going to take a scene-by-scene look at the imagery in the Skin music video and the message that imagery is leading to. Let's start. The very first scene tells us that the music video is going to be about transformation. The black spreading through Seonghwa's veins looks dangerous or even disturbing, but definitely is telling us that a change is already underway. The scene then shifts to a new space. It's red, it's enclosed, it's soft, suggestive of a womb. The different form of Seonghwa we see here is just waking up, unaware of his surroundings, suggesting a new life getting ready to be born. The blackening of the veins told us that a change was already occurring within Seonghwa. And I believe this form within this womb scene represents that change which is occurring within him. Seonghwa then pulls something from his back, and I think it's no coincidence that his back is also where we saw the veins blackening. The way in which Seonghwa removes this bloody growth from himself, a bloody struggle to remove something from its place of origin, is more birth imagery. So in a way, we have a birth within a birth. The fact that removing the growth seems to result in the female figures appearing suggests that these figures are also part of the birth or transformation that is about to occur. The scene then shifts to a different form of Seonghwa and his dancers. At first glance, these scenes seem like they might have been included just to showcase the song's choreography, but it quickly becomes clear that they have more significance. Just the fact that all of the dancers are female and Seonghwa is wearing the same outfit as them seems like it's intentionally reinforcing his connection to the feminine. As the scene continues, we get a number of indications that the dance is more than just a dance. We see flashes of womb Seonghwa and then a close-up on his eyes. This is the first of several important points in the music video that focus on eyes and gaze. Here we see womb Seonghwa closing his eyes, and then we get a flash of a different version of Seonghwa, different lighting, different hair. And this version is awakening. This other version's hair appears silvery gray, a color which will return later. The dancing scene continues, but mixed in with it, we have some shots of dancer Seonghwa moving in a way that is crazed and frantic. And we also have a couple of glimpses of the bloody lump, the growth from before. Mixing these other scenes in with the choreography scenes suggests that the dance is not separate from the rest of the video. Perhaps the dance itself is the method of transformation, or perhaps dancer Seonghwa is this new persona that is trying to emerge. Regardless, it's clear that the dance is part of this change that we are being shown. There's then an intensifying struggle within the womb scene. The hands and flickering shadows show us that Seonghwa is not alone there. The hands and shadows echo the role of the backup dancers. So in these scenes, we see Seonghwa being surrounded, even supported, but also very much isolated and by himself. If we take the backup dancers as representing aspects of Seonghwa, it makes sense why he is still alone even while surrounded. The struggle within the womb seems to intensify and come to a head. And in the last shot from that scene, we see things floating up and away, almost as if things are being pushed out. The color change to black and white with predominant shades of gray echoes the new form of Seonghwa we saw before and also foreshadows the color shift that's coming at the end of the video. As we end the womb scene for the last time, we meet another new form of Seonghwa, who I'll call the inspector. The inspector is clearly here to solve the mystery of this bloody lump that was removed before. In its shape and size, it's somewhere between an embryo and a seed, but clearly it's meant to symbolize potential new growth. The inspector is very scientific. We have gloves and scalpels. Everything is very clinical. It's fascinating to note, however, that Seonghwa himself is not the one doing the inspecting. Instead, the female figures appear to take this role as if they are playing a part for him while he observes the whole scene. It's unclear whether the inspector comes to any conclusions, but whatever happens in this scene prods him to action. We see the inspector approaches the line of dancers and a line on the ground. We once again have a close-up on Seonghwa's eyes. We see them moving back and forth as if he's contemplating a decision. One detail that seems to emphasize that dancer Seonghwa has his own separate role. As the inspector version of Seonghwa approaches the line of dancers, we see this darkened image. Dancer Seonghwa clearly seems to be in the center here. So while it's not emphasized in the video, the implication is that we have two versions of Seonghwa facing themselves. At the end of this section, we see Inspector Seonghwa. We see him making his decision and crossing that line. When he crosses the line, a new line forms, a line of Inspector Seonghwa and the dancers, all headed in the same direction. But only for a moment before Seonghwa turns, and then in a subtle shift of scene, he is alone and in the dark, headed in a different direction. This moment is subtle, but it's implying a lot. First, it shows Seonghwa choosing to move away from the dancers who have symbolized perhaps parts of himself that he relies on, moving away from those dancers to face what is coming on his own. This is made even clearer in the next scene as we see a shot of the dancers running away towards the light while Seonghwa himself remains alone in the darkness. Since the dancers return at the end of the video, I don't think this is suggesting that Seonghwa is rejecting parts of himself, but rather I think it suggests that accepting difficult parts of yourself or making a big change within yourself can feel very vulnerable and lonely. And finally, the climax of the video comes as Seonghwa faces this shadowy creature and transforms. Right before the moment of transformation, we once again focus on his eyes. His flickering gaze does not seem to suggest hesitance, instead, assessment, and finally, with his hand reached out, acceptance. And what a stunning scene as he finally changes, the shadows surrounding and transforming him. We see the return of the gray and white palette, which we had seen hints of before, and which is his final form. Mixed in with the triumphant final dance, we once again have flashes of red, reminding us of the womb. But unlike the womb, these flashes of red are sharp and fast and seem outward as if they burst forth from Seonghwa. Instead of being cradled within something, he has fully emerged. The final part of the choreo sees him surrounded again by the dancers, but then they disappear, reinforcing perhaps that after all, they were really only parts of himself. The final image of him surrounded by the snake, of course, reinforces this idea of shedding one's skin, rebirth. This final scene feels like an intentional inverse of the final part of the stage performance. In the stage performance, we see him shedding his jacket-like skin and down to a very revealing outfit. However, in the music video, we see him more covered up in this snakeskin patterned suit, as if he's grown a new skin. Through imagery of pain, confrontation, and rebirth, the Skin music video tells us a story about trying to understand and accept a part of yourself. Within the context of the music video, the desire, the she that the lyrics describe most likely refer to a desire to know a part of yourself that feels forbidden. I've seen some interpretations online suggest that the video is specifically about exploring types of gender expression. And I think those are very valid. There certainly are hints of body dysmorphia, some flirting with gender fluidity. But I think the video itself is more intentionally ambiguous. It also works as a more general message about exploring yourself and showing more of your true self. The Skin video makes it clear that being your true self does not necessarily mean something sweet or comfortable. Instead, the final version of Seonghwa we get is strange, angry, and very powerful. The Skin music video suggests that our most honest form of ourself is our strongest.